Welcome to the deep dive. So many of you can communicate in English, right? You know the grammar, you can generally get your point across. But do you ever feel like your conversations are maybe a bit flat?
Yeah.
Like you're just, exchanging facts, not really connecting or showing your personality? Today, we're doing a deep dive into some really practical ways to bridge that gap. We want to help make your English not just correct, but, well, truly captivating.
That's absolutely spot on. This whole exploration is, um, it's really about moving past those very simple, almost robotic sentences.
Hmm.
The kind that feel a bit like you're reading from a beginner's textbook.
Great.
We're going to look at how to weave in richer details, how to share your opinions with a bit more nuance and connect ideas smoothly so your conversations just feel more effortless, more engaging. The goal really is to elevate your conversational fluency and your confidence too.
Okay, let's unpack this right away then.
Right.
What actually defines an intermediate English speaker compared to, say, someone just starting out? It feels like it's going to be more than just knowing more words, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely more than just vocabulary. Think of it, think of it like this. A beginner might say, I go to school, I eat lunch, I play football.
Mm.
It's clear, sure, but it kind of lacks texture, doesn't it?
Yeah, very basic.
But an intermediate learner, they start building bridges between those ideas. They might say something more like, well, I usually go to school in the morning, and then after my classes finish, I often play football with my friends before grabbing some lunch.
Mm.
See, it just transforms that list of facts into something more coherent, like a flowing narrative.
Ah, I can really see the difference there. It's like you're painting a picture with your words, not just listing items.
Yeah.
Okay, applying what you just said, let me try describing my morning. So instead of just facts, I'd say something like, I typically wake up around 7 o'clock, and the very first thing I do is head for the coffee maker because honestly, I can barely function without that first cup.
Right. Caffeine first.
Definitely. Then, while I'm sipping my coffee, I usually catch up on the news on my phone for a bit before actually settling into my work.
Exactly. That's perfect. Did you notice how those details weren't just like tacked on? They were woven together with words like because
Mm.
and while.
Mhm.
That's what opens the door for more meaningful exchanges. So as you're listening, maybe challenge yourself.
Yeah.
How could you take your own everyday things, like your morning routine, and weave them into a more engaging story? Add those little connecting details.
Okay, so once you can connect sentences about your day, I guess the next step is often about adding more personality, right?
Definitely.
And what better way than talking about something you're passionate about, like a hobby? But how do we talk about a hobby beyond just, naming it?
Yeah, that's a great point. It's not just stating, I enjoy photography. An intermediate speaker really explains why they enjoy it, or maybe how it makes them feel, or even what they sort of hope to achieve with it. For example, you might say, I genuinely enjoy photography,
Mm.
particularly capturing landscapes, because for me, it's my way of preserving the amazing beauty I see when I travel to new places.
Ah, okay.
It just adds so much more depth, more personal connection.
That's funny. That's actually my hobby, photography.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really enjoy photography. I especially like taking pictures of nature, particularly when I travel somewhere new. It feels like such a great way to remember experiences. And sometimes, if I'm lucky, I manage to capture a really unique perspective.
See, that's a fantastic example right there. You didn't just state the hobby and the why, but you added that extra layer trying to capture a unique perspective.
Yeah.
It makes the listener feel like they know you just a little bit better. What about you? Got a hobby you can share? Maybe with a little story.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. Ah, okay.
Well, I'm actually quite passionate about cooking, especially trying out, international recipes.
Yeah.
Just last week, actually, I decided to try making Japanese ramen completely from scratch at home.
Oh, wow. That sounds pretty ambitious. How did it turn out? Ramen seems like it could be quite complex.
You're not wrong. It was surprisingly complex, actually, and it took absolutely ages,
Mm.
hours. But honestly, the result was incredibly satisfying,
Yeah.
genuinely delicious. The broth simmered for so long, the whole apartment just smelled amazing.
Okay, that's a key insight right there for you listening. The power of adding those sensory details, the smell, the taste, and your feelings, your opinions, it makes conversations so much richer, more engaging. Just like that ramen story, it turns a simple fact, I cooked ramen, into a memorable little experience.
Absolutely. So when you share a hobby, maybe try this kind of pattern. I enjoy a hobby because reason, and I particularly love maybe a specific aspect or a feeling, or like I did, a short anecdote.
Yeah.
It really invites more questions and just leads to deeper conversation, don't you think?
Definitely. Now, at this intermediate level, it's also really crucial not just to answer questions, but to ask good ones too, right? To keep the conversation flowing and learn more.
Couldn't agree more. Asking good questions is key. So, for instance, let me ask you, what do you usually get up to on the weekends?
Oh, good question. Well, I typically spend quite a bit of quality time with my family. And if the weather's nice, we often try to head out for a hike somewhere. Actually, just last weekend, we kind of decided on a whim to drive up to the mountains.
Oh, how wonderful. That sounds lovely. And did you enjoy that particular trip?
Oh, yes, very much so. The air up there felt incredibly fresh and crisp, such a change from the city. And the views from the peak, just panoramic, really breathtaking. It was exactly what we needed, that little escape.
Okay, now what's fascinating here is how you didn't just give a simple yes.
Right.
You added those vivid details, the incredibly fresh and crisp air,
Hmm.
the panoramic and breathtaking views. It immediately helps the listener picture it, feel it almost. That's exactly what makes a conversation come alive and really connect you with the other person. It's not just data transfer, it's sharing an experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. And another essential skill for intermediate speakers, I think, is confidently sharing past experiences. It's basically how you tell your personal story and find that common ground with people.
Absolutely. And when you're talking about the past, getting the hang of the correct past tense is, well, vital.
Mhm.
Especially understanding that subtle difference between, say, the simple past and the
Mm.
present perfect.
Right.
Remember, the simple past is for a completed action at a specific time in the past, like it's done, finished.
Okay.
Whereas the present perfect often connects a past action to the present, maybe without a specific time, or showing its relevance now.
Right. Okay, an example using simple past. Last year, I traveled to Italy.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. I visited Rome and Florence. I saw the magnificent Colosseum, incredible. And naturally, I ate an unbelievable amount of pasta and pizza. All simple past, specific trip last year.
That sounds absolutely amazing. Italy, well, with all those incredible places, what was your absolute favorite part of the trip? And like, why that part?
That's a tough one. But I think Florence was probably my favorite,
Oh,
mostly because of the art, the Renaissance art everywhere, and just the stunning architecture. Honestly, every corner felt like you were walking through a masterpiece.
perfect example.
Hmm.
And you use the simple past verbs correctly for those specific finished events. Traveled, visited, saw, ate. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, maybe take a moment now. Think of a significant past trip or event you've experienced. Try starting with phrases like, last year or a few months ago, I had the chance to. And see if you can weave in some details and maybe how it made you feel.
Okay, so far we've covered describing what you do, what you've done, but conversations really spark when you share what you think, right? Opinions. How do we move beyond just a simple yes or no to express our opinions effectively at this level?
Yeah, that's a critical step, definitely. Intermediate learners should really practice not just giving opinions, but crucially backing them up with reasons, explaining the why.
Mhm.
And maybe for a bit more sophistication, you could use what we call hedging phrases sometimes. They soften your stance a bit, make it sound less absolute, invite more discussion.
Hedging, like what?
Like saying, I tend to think, or it seems to me, or perhaps, for example, on online learning, instead of just online learning is good, you could say, well, I tend to think online learning can be incredibly helpful, primarily because you can access educational resources pretty much anytime, anywhere, which, offers immense flexibility.
Right, okay. I can see how that sounds more nuanced. I'd say I mostly agree with that. From my perspective, online learning certainly offers amazing flexibility. However, I also strongly believe that face-to-face learning is still incredibly important, mainly because you get that invaluable, real human interaction and the sort of dynamic energy you only find in a classroom.
Exactly. See, you just perfectly demonstrated how to politely agree, I mostly agree, but then introduce a different angle, a counterpoint, using however and from my perspective.
Hmm.
And it keeps the conversation flowing really naturally. It shows you're thinking critically.
Mm.
So for you listening, maybe take a moment.
Mm.
What's your opinion on online learning? Try saying, I think, or from my perspective, I believe. And remember to add a clear reason, your because.
Good exercise. Now, let's shift gears slightly and talk about the future. It's not just about saying I will all the time, is it? There's more to it than that.
Oh, definitely not. There are lots of ways to express future plans, and they often reflect at different levels of certainty or intention. For instance, host, what are your plans for next weekend? Anything exciting?
Let's see. Well, I'm planning to visit my family, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we'll probably have a big barbecue in the backyard, assuming the weather holds up. It's something we always look forward to doing when it's warm.
That sounds like a really fantastic plan. A family barbecue, lovely. As for me, I think I'm going to go shopping.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely in need of some new clothes, so that's on the agenda.
Right.
But notice the range of phrases we just used there. You said, I'm planning to, shows a clear intention. You also used will probably,
Mm-hmm.
which suggests a likely plan, but maybe not 100% certain. And I used I'm going to, which also indicates a strong intention or plan. These are all excellent ways to talk about the future with slightly different feelings about them.
Great examples. Okay, listeners, what about you? Take a second to think about your own plans for next weekend. Try saying, next weekend, I'm going to, or maybe I'm thinking of, or I might. See how many details you can naturally add. Okay, to really try and bring all these different skills together, now connecting ideas, adding details, opinions, past, future process, let's do a quick role play. I find this is a really hands-on way to practice intermediate conversation in a specific kind of common scenario.
Good idea.
So I'll be the customer and maybe you can be the sharp assistant. Ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Let's do it. I'm ready.
Yeah.
What shop are we in? Clothing.
Yeah, let's say clothing. Okay. Um, Excuse me, I'm looking at this shirt, but do you happen to have it in a larger size? This one seems like it might be a bit snug.
Certainly. Let me check that for you right away. What size are you usually looking for? We generally keep a good range in stock for this style.
I usually wear a medium, please. If you have that, that would be great.
Okay, let me just see. Yes, perfect timing. We do have a medium in this exact style right here. Here you go. Would you like to try it on in the fitting room, just to make sure it's a comfortable fit for you?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you. I'd appreciate that very much. Is the fitting room just over there?
Yes, that's right. Just around the corner to your left. Let me know if you need anything else at all while you're trying it on.
Great, thanks so much. Okay, end scene. That was, a pretty simple exchange, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I think it illustrates a practical intermediate level conversation quite well. It wasn't overly basic, like just pointing, but it wasn't excessively complex either. It just covered a normal scenario with a natural back and forth.
Precisely. And it shows how you can navigate those common interactions. Effectively, asking for specific details like size, offering solutions like checking stock, confirming understanding about the fitting room. These are all really essential parts of truly functional, everyday English conversation.
So, today we've really tried to explore how to add those important layers of detail and nuance to your English. We talked about enriching descriptions of your daily life, sharing passions like hobbies with feeling, recounting past experiences vividly.
Right. And expressing opinions with reasons, discussing future plans, using different forms.
And even practiced a real-world scenario through that little role play.
Yes. And I think, if we connect this all back to the bigger picture, probably the most important thing is simply to keep speaking. Really embrace the process, and please try not to worry too much about making mistakes. That's honestly where the real progress happens, is how you weave together that rich tapestry of conversation, mistake by mistake sometimes.
Absolutely well said. And to keep that progress going, you could try practicing with friends, maybe find a language exchange partner, or even just record yourself talking about your day or your opinions and then listen back. You might be surprised at how quickly you start to hear your own improvements, those new connections forming in your speech.
That's great advice. And, this really raises an important question for you, our listener, to think about after this deep dive. Consider how developing these intermediate conversation skills allows you to do more than just speak English. How does it empower you to truly connect with others, to share your unique stories, your ideas, your personality with the world? How might this deeper level of communication open up entirely new possibilities, new relationships in your life, something to mull over,